Good morning and welcome to the Market Opening Show. This is our collab show between Business Today and India Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is the 9 a.m. show. We're going to be getting you all the opening action. But first up, let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and the financial space right now. Spotlight again on the 12 PSU bank counters as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman confirms merger talks between public sector banks, says India needs a lot of big banks and that talks are on with the RBI for consolidation in the sector. The Nifty PSU Banks Index is already up 20% in the past 3 months. Donald Trump says he will consider alternatives if the Supreme Court rules against his tariff. Statement comes a day after a 9-judge bench of the top U.S. court questioned the legality of the sweeping tariffs. Trump says their removal will be devastating to the United States. Indian markets likely to see another day of a red as Asian stocks stumble after a sell-off on the Wall Street. A cooling labour market and fears of high valuations keep investors in the US also jittery. The ongoing US government shutdown is also making the markets quite nervous. Elon Musk is all set to be the world's first trillionaire. Tesla shareholders have cleared the largest payout ever to a corporate leader with more than 75% votes cast in favor of the proposal. But he must have Tesla hit $8.5 trillion in market value to get his big paycheck. Morning viewers, let's straight away look at the big breaking news this morning. This is as far as the flight disruptions at the New Delhi airport is concerned. ATC system failure has grounded a lot of aircrafts. We have seen software glitches at ATC. Air traffic control is operating now manually. Remember, average delay of 50 minutes in departures is being seen at the Delhi airport. And for more on this, we are also now joined by my colleague Karishma Sudani to get us the latest updates on that. Karishma, what exactly are you hearing as far as the ATC disruptions are concerned? ATC is operating manually at this point in time. What we are also given to understand, this is as far as software glitches have emerged at the ATC, and therefore this has led to a lot of grounding of aircrafts at the Delhi airport as well. Flight disruptions are being seen at this point in time as well. What we are also given to understand that even though landing of aircrafts is happening, but it is the takeoffs that are getting delayed. Almost 50 minutes of a delay in departures is being seen at this point in time as well. What we are also given to understand is that there has been a clear advisory that has been issued to the passengers as well. Karishma is with us for more on this. Karishma, help us understand what caused this glitch on the softwares as far as ATC is concerned. For how long have we been facing the disruption? What has this led to?
Sakshi, this is something that has been happening, in fact, since yesterday, and there has been a software glitch with the ATC inputs due to which a lot of flights have been going under a delay yesterday at the Delhi airport. The situation went on for 2 hours and then was resolved, but it has returned back this morning. A couple of reasons. One, the fact that it's a technical glitch. The AAI is working towards it. The Ministry of Civil Aviation is being involved. But a second prominent issue that's coming in is probably a situation of spoofing that we have also reported on Business Today television yesterday. While officials are yet to confirm us on details, we have been told that DGCA has been collecting data along with the ATC, and this temporary outrage could also be because of that. Now, difficult to say when will the situation be resolved, because if we are talking about a software glitch, a technical glitch, then this could go on longer than what we are thinking. But currently, manually, the passengers are being boarded in. So do expect departure delays at least for today.
What advisory has been issued to the passengers at this point in time from the ATC and the GMR airport at this point? Karishma, what are the details there?
Sakshi, the passengers have been advised to check on their updated schedule with the airlines and also to contact. In fact, the airlines are also cooperating and they have sent out an advisory on their respective Twitter handles asking the passengers to stay updated, but also to stay patient on the fact because this is something not in their personal purview.
No cancellations at this point, Karishma?
Very little cancellations to do because it's a 50 to 60-minute delay being seen. But even then, at this point, a 50-minute delay is a lot to take in, especially if we look at busy sectors like that of Delhi and Mumbai.
Sure, and we're getting the latest updates now. The delay is 53 minutes. Of course, we'll keep you all updated with all of those details. Karishma, keep at it and keep getting us all those details as far as the Delhi airport is concerned. But getting back to the markets, we are hoping to see another start on a weak note to let's quickly look at how the stock markets are trading at this point in time. It's the pre-open trade that has given us a sense that again we could be seeing a lower start for the Indian markets and below 25,450 at this point, 0.3% of a decline. Let's quickly go across to our guest now this morning, Mayuresh Joshi, Head of Equity Research at William O'Neill India, is now joining in to share with us his views on the markets. Mayuresh, warm welcome. Good morning to you. Good to have you with us. And Shell is also with us on the program. Shell Patnagar, editor for markets, is also joining in. Good morning to both of you. Thanks a lot for joining in. Let me quickly take, Mayuresh, first your thoughts as far as the markets are concerned. How are you looking at this weakening trends in the markets, and where do you think, the markets are headed?
Morning, Sakshi. Morning, Shell. I think two things. One, I think because of the weak global handover, you're probably feeling the pinch as far as the markets are concerned. As well as what probably happens with the Bihar elections. That is what is probably on the market's mind as we speak. Outside that, I think the earnings have been pretty decent so far. I think from a Q2 perspective, earnings have largely held up, and in fact, in some pockets, earnings were relatively better. So, in my opinion, again, I think as we wade through these events over the next few weeks, and with the expectations of the second half earnings being relatively stronger on what Q2 has delivered, my own sense is that I don't see a structural downside for the Indian markets. If the markets do come off, I think there will be good buying opportunities as far as medium to long-term investors are concerned.
Okay. Shell, getting you in, a last trading session of this week, we've already seen 2 consecutive days of a decline in this truncated week. What exactly is the action that you're looking at today?
Well, Sakshi, I think there is still more downside on the Nifty. 25,330, 25,400 is what things look going to. But defensive counters are doing immensely well. Dabur, Tata Consumer in particular. The pharma space is alive on the long side via IPCA, via Sanofi, Divi's Lab, as also Newland Labs. So the market is completely defensive. Bottoms and sell-offs in the PSU banks and the metal space. In particular, Hindalco, National Aluminium look good, as also the 4 frontline banks in the PSU basket, which is SBI, Canara Bank of Baroda, as well as Canara Bank. Indian Bank, my apologies.
Absolutely, and PSU banks is going to be a big theme to track today. Mayuresh, how are you looking at the PSU banking story at large? Of course, we've been seeing some uptick in the last 3 months alone. The index has gone up by about 20-odd%. That reflects a lot of activity that is buzzing there. Of course, there's an understanding that the merger could be in place. We'll in fact come to you because we're just about 3 seconds away from the market opening. We'll quickly look at the market opening action and come to you on that. 25,423. So we are down by about 100 odd points right at the open, viewers. We are inching closer to 25,402. Sectorally, the action is looking in the red for a large part of sectors. You have even the broader markets, the banking story that's in the red today. You have the metal stocks that are in the red, infrastructure, real estate. Barring, I think, pharma, rest of the sectors are all opening lower in trade at this point in time. What's on the Nifty? You see Apollo Hospitals post earnings up 1.3%, the top mover there. Sun Pharma up by 1%. Similarly to what Shell was pointing out, the market's turning clearly defensive at this point. Infosys, Shriram Finance, these are the other stocks that are holding up. But on the downside, you have Bharti Airtel, you have HCL Technologies, you have Tech Mahindra from the IT pack, Adani Enterprises, you have Bharat Electronics. I mean, look at all these stocks that are actually down by about 1% in trade. So the sentiment is largely broad-based weak at this point in time. Shell, what else are you picking up right at the open? Any key stocks that you'd like to highlight?
Sakshi, I think it's a 0.5% downtick on the Nifty. That's a 150-point gap that we are looking at. So 25,350, which I was looking forward to, is already on the screens. This would mean basically the correction seems to be over at this point of time. Let's look at the positives in life, and those are fairly active as far as the Nifty 500 is concerned. Sugar company Triveni Engineering 5% higher. Industrial gas maker Linde India 3.5% higher. Lupin, as I had mentioned, doing very well. Apollo Hospitals you've already marked. There is strength in pharma. That's the only index that is in the green, and you have Sun Pharma 1% higher. Laurus Labs in the green. Lupin post earnings 1% higher, and of course you have Laurus Labs about 981, consolidating near record highs. I think you should be looking on the long side as far as the broader markets are concerned. Sakshi.
Absolutely. In fact, let's actually go across to finding out what Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said as far as the PSU banks merger is concerned. Finance Minister has already confirmed what the markets was acting all along. I mean, an impending merger among the 12 public sector banks. According to the minister, India definitely needs lots of big and world-class banks, and the government has already begun the work on it by initiating discussions with the Reserve Bank of India, and banks are going to be seeing how public sector bank amalgamation can now be taken forward. For more on this, we're also joined by my colleague, but let's first listen into what Finance Minister had to say.
India needs a lot of big banks, world-class banks, and for that, of course, we will have to sit and talk with the Reserve Bank and also with the banks themselves to see how they want to take it forward. And also discuss with RBI about how they have a idea of taking or idea of building larger banks. So there's a lot of work to do prior to my saying, yes, I've taken a call or government is looking at this way or that way. And in that, work has already commenced. We are discussing with RBI, we are discussing with banks. It's not by creating from among those which exist today just by amalgamation. That can also be one of the route. But you need an ecosystem and also an environment in which more banks can operate and operate to grow. So that environment is actually well established in India, but I need it to be a bit more dynamic. So some work is happening on it.
Coming to you, Mahesh, on PSU banks, what exactly is your thought there? And are you looking at the space positively as well?
Well, absolutely. I think our take is that purely based on numbers and earnings delivery has been stellar for PSU banks so far. And on all counts, I think if you're looking at advanced deposit growth, if you're looking at the CASA deterioration, which is largely behind us, the provisioning and the excess provisioning that they've done on their balance sheet, the stability in asset quality. And therefore, I think the commentaries that are coming through in terms of NIMs and spreads being maintained or able that the banks will be able to maintain and decent growth going forward with valuations and risk reward at their side. I think the rating, rankings, institution holding parameters that we see at Markets for India all look good. Obviously, I think how the dynamics will work going forward in terms of mergers for each individual bank will depend on the ratios that ultimately get worked out. But generally, as a space, we remain extremely constructive.
Okay. Let me also go across to my colleague Karishma yet again to give us all those details as far as the PSU Bank's merger is concerned. Karishma, what are you hearing? What could be the timeline? What could be the proceedings that we could now look at, and how the processes will develop?
Sakshi, it's definitely nothing new. In fact, consolidation has been a part of the 10-year agenda of this government. We were at the helm of about close to 23 banks. We've got them down to 12 in the last 10 years. And now the word is on that the government may actually bring it down to close to 8 or 9 of these. In fact, two big initiatives that the Department of Financial Services has been holding is one, to allow more of foreign investment in PSBs. That has been the talk of the town, and my sources hint me that could be well expected before budget. And if that happens, it will definitely pave path also in a lot of interest that is coming towards PSBs in India. The second one is also participation of private sector employees as a part of a PSB board. Recently, there was one announced for SBI. Finance Minister has reiterated the fact that Indian banks need to go global, and currently it's just one of them that stands to be in the top 25 list. The efforts are on to bring more and more public sector banks as the front-running image of the country.
All right, Karishma, thanks a lot for all that update. Of course, this is one space that it will be in focus for some time, up until the announcements start to pour in on the amalgamation on the PSU banking story as well. Shell, I'll come back to you as well. We've been seeing how Karishma pointed out that from 23 banks, we're down to 12, and now we're going to be seeing some more action on the merger front as well. We have been seeing a lot of technical analysts also bet big on PSU banks over the last couple of weeks too. What exactly is the understanding there? The top banks, how are they doing? And the second-rung banks, how are they doing at this point?
I think, Sakshi, two important things will happen. Let's look at those banks which will survive this merger and acquisitive bid and become bigger. So definitely State Bank of India, because it's the 26% of Indian banking is owned by SBI. You have Indian Bank already at a record high. That's, according to you, is according to the market, a winner. Now that leaves us with Canara Bank and Bank of Baroda. Canara Bank has listed two of its subsidiaries, which is the insurance space with HSBC Life and its mutual fund arm with Rebecco. My understanding is that Canara Bank will also be amongst the survivors, and of course Bank of Baroda. So these are the four big ones that will definitely survive. One or two more regional giants, maybe Bank of Maharashtra. So these are the five winners that are there. And when you look at how these valuations are compared with private sector peers, there is definitely a scope for further upside on PSU banks. This is what the broader market is thinking.
Sure, fair point. So, Mayuresh, coming back to you as well, re-rating on the cards as far as these PSU banks are concerned, and how would you play them ahead of the merger then?
No, absolutely. I think, as I said, constructive because of the various factors that I pointed out. But again, I think the larger banks will have to absorb the mid-sized banks. So I think how the ratios will stack up, that is going to be paramount, actually, in terms of the entire move going forward, because merger ratios will play their part as far as the price action is concerned for most of the mid-cap stocks. But it's very obvious, as Shell was also pointing out, I think a whole host of these mid-cap stocks will get merged into the larger banks. And therefore, I think selectively, the names that Shell has pointed out, I think there the rating rankings look extremely strong, given at our end at markets.
Absolutely. What else are you looking at for opportunities in the current market, Mayuresh, that you'd like to highlight for our viewers today?
So consumption as a theme, Sakshi, is going to grow significantly. We all know because of GST rationalization, and demand is expected to come back very strongly, both in urban and rural areas. So consumption can be played through various means. One, I think hotels as a space can show very decent comeback when you're probably looking at earnings pedigree going forward. You've obviously got FMCG as a back and selective stocks within those where volume growth should come back reasonably. the unorganized market had enjoyed the benefits because of the higher GST rates for the organized players. With GST rationalization happening, I think there will be unorganized market share gains that the organized players will do. So there will be a marginal volume uptake, but more so on the margin and bottom line growth. The third aspect obviously will be footwear and local apparel players, where our take is that as consumption patterns start driving higher, I think these players will incrementally benefit going forward. Both outside PSU banks, NBFCs selectively as a space will benefit because of lower borrowing costs from banks and balance sheets actually strengthening to a large extent. And last but not the least, I think a few of these capital good players, a few of the capital good manufacturers, power equipment manufacturers, ancillary players, that is where government capex will continue very, very strongly. So to build that up, I think some ancillary plays within cement, as an example, railway infrastructure, power manufacturers, ancillary players.
Sure.
I think these themes is where earnings can go.
Fantastic. Mayuresh, always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much for your morning commentary on the markets and, of course, giving us all those opportunities there. We'll have you back soon on another edition there. Time for a short break, viewers. But before that, we leave you in the company of the world's first trillionaire. Tesla has voted to approve the largest payout ever to a CEO, with more than 75% of the votes cast in favor of the unprecedented pay plan, which will ultimately hand over more than a quarter of the company's stake to the founder over the next decade. But to achieve that full payout, Musk will have to deliver on massive targets to significantly expand Tesla's market value, revive its flagging car business, and get the fledgling robo-taxi and Optimus Robotics efforts off the ground as well. Let's listen in.
Sixth and
I'd
final.
like to thank the Tesla board for their immense support. We have a fantastic board, fantastic group of shareholders. Thank you all. And what we're about to embark upon is not merely a new chapter of the future of Tesla, but a whole new book. And I want to talk about that. We're going to launch on the fastest production ramp of any product, of any large complex manufactured product ever. And starting with building a 1 million unit production line in Fremont. And that's line one. And then a 10 million unit per year production line here on the
Right here, right now. कितना कुछ नया start हो.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A complete back foot as far as bulls are concerned on Dalal Street. You have immense profit booking happening. 25,346 is where the Nifty is in the first 15 minutes of trade, down about 165 points. Heavy selling pressure on the Nifty IT index, 1.35% down. This is a sideways to consolidative trend that's happening in the market ahead of the final round of Bihar elections. Profit booking galore, about 735 points have been snatched away by the market from the Nifty in the past 5 trading sessions. We are joined by Mr. Gaurav Sharma, Associate VP and Head of Research at Globe Capital. Apart from FMCG and Pharma, the market is in a downturn. Gaurav, how are you looking at sentiment on the Dalal Street?
Hello, Shailendra. Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show today. Clearly, market is reeling under pressure. It is that the color is red on Dalal Street. It is probably the third consecutive trading session in the row where the markets are trading in red, although this is just the beginning of the day. But what I can sense is Nifty is heading towards its important crucial supports at 25,325 or the levels in the spot market. So this is where its 50-period exponential moving average, which will act as an immediate support and is likely to provide the much needed cushion to the benchmark Nifty index. Yes, most of the stocks and all the sector gauges are trading in red as we speak. Over 2,000 stocks on NXE are trading in red against just about 500 in the green. So the market price is very much inclined towards a declining side. It is a clearly broad-based sell-off that we have been witnessed. I was expecting the markets to drift and settle somewhere close to 25, 400 odd levels, but the sell-off intensified, and now 325 is the important support where I am expecting the markets to take a pause.
Well, okay. 474 points down on the IT index. Stocks, ladies and gentlemen, that are outperforming this market are, not falling as much. Look at Dabur, look at Tata Consumer post earnings. In particular, look at the pharma space. Newland Labs, 2.5% higher, 17,990. You have a strong move coming into counters such as IPCA. In fact, the pharma index is the only index, ladies and gentlemen, that was in the green a while ago. And within the pharma space, purely defensive, post earnings, Lupin 1.5% higher, Sun Pharma 0.5% higher, Newland Labs taking it away 2.5% higher. That's how the market is at this point of time. Gaurav, any picks that you have from the pharma space?
Davis Lab has always been among my favorite stocks within the pharma space, and it has proven correct as well. As we speak, it is just about 0.7% lower, and for the week, it is 1.4% higher as of now. So overall, it is a very good stock to buy. I always look at some dips to suggest it to my clients to add up to their portfolio if they have missed earlier. I still suggest that use your platform to convey this. It is a very fine stock, one of the largest API suppliers, and completely it has not been much impacted with the ongoing tariff related issues that have largely dampened the sentiments for the pharma pack all throughout the year.
Okay. Orchid Pharma in particular showing strength, 823, and what's really interesting is that for the last 4 days it's up, moving from 750 to 823. This is strength, ladies and gentlemen, but still now the counter is below both 200-day moving average as also 365-day moving average. One other sector that's doing very well is the auto ancillary space, ladies and gentlemen. Look at Minda Corp, look at Precol. Precol post earnings 5.5% higher. This is amongst the top performers in a market that's correcting very heavily, and of course at 546. A view on Precol, if at all, Gaurav?
We are not very closely tracking Precol as such, but yes, I can give a clear-cut view on Minda as such, Minda Corp. As first of all, I'd like to give a general disclaimer. It is a part of our Diwali recommendation, so our clients could have a position in it. We have recommended come up with a buy rating on the stock at 589, and we are expecting it to test 680 in a year's time frame. So we feel pride in in identifying such a quality stock at that level, and which has holded ground, and we see it heading much higher. 680 is the price target that we are expecting the stock to test in the following quarters. The stock has performed exceptionally well, but the same has not been culminated in its share price. Therefore, we expect that the valuations will lead to a complete turnaround for this stock, and it will head northwards going forward.
Okay, fair point. 9:34, we've already had about 17-18 minutes of trade. The Nifty still in the weakness, no signs of rebound. The IT index 1.6% lower. So selling pressure at the moment mounting. In terms of the FMCG space, that's doing pretty well at this point of time. You have Bajaj Consumer, you have coffee company CCL, earlier known as Consolidated Coffee. So this is doing pretty well. And of course, you have Dabur and Tata Consumer. Gaurav, a pick in the FMCG space. I know valuations are a little tricky there on the long side, but in this kind of a market where only defense is working, your top pick in the FMCG space, what looks good?
I think I'll go with Dower from the names that you have suggested right now. Currently it is trading at 518. The stock has traded well in the past couple of trading sessions. Yesterday it was the third consecutive day where the stock marched ahead, and it has rallied from 486 to 520 to 525 odd levels in these three trading sessions. I expect this particular up move to continue, and 540, 545 can be expected in the immediate near term itself.
Okay, fair point. What's really interesting is that look at Bajaj Consumer. In this kind of a market, ladies and gentlemen, where we are running helter and skelter to save ourselves, Bajaj Consumer has hit a record high at 299.70. A very, very strong momentum coming in from mid-September onwards, when the counter was at 238. 239, but a fresh record high in the market. And taking it away, ladies and gentlemen, is Newland Labs, a fresh number, 18,096 for you, 3.1% higher. It's a very, very high beta counter within the pharma space, and it does immensely well. Lupin 1.5% higher, and that's how the market is at this point of time. Let me also mark the new lows today, if any. Indian Hotels 2.7% lower, 677. Crompton 2.2% lower, 272. You have Tejas Networks 1.6% lower at a fresh 52-week low, and of course Saregama 3.7% lower at 410. Gaurav, anything that catches your interest?
Clearly, it is Indian Hotels. The stock has witnessed a good amount of sell-off after posting its numbers, but the guidance came in well. Therefore, what I'm expecting the second half to be better than what we have seen. The commentary also suggests the same. Also, the winter season attracts good amount of travel within the all across India as well as the South Asian region, where Indian Hotel operates most of its hotels and resorts. Therefore, I think these are good attractive levels to at least start accumulating the stock now.
Gaurav, good morning to you. Good to have you with us on the show. Help us understand, how are you looking at some of these earnings reactions? Amber Enterprises down by about 12% post the earnings too. Now, this, we remember, has been one of the stocks that has been a favorite of investors, and has also performed well, in its stock performance as well. But now it has extended its losses over 13.8%. Now, at the lowest point is what we are given to understand as far as Amber Enterprises is concerned. Any suggestion on this one? How would you look at the stock?
I think this is an exaggerated reaction to the results that came up. I was also going through the commentary and the interview of the CMD of Blue Star. Even they were of the opinion that they are not much worried and concerned about the outcome which has been in the past. They are forward looking, and we have seen a lesser of summer season not intensifying too much, leading to less sales of the AC brands. An extended monsoon dampened the sentiments. Going forward, I think we should now look at the next season. Amber Enterprises is one company which is into the business of, it comes up with spare parts for these AC companies as well. And I think this is a lot beaten down now. This is time one should start accumulating the stock, keeping a little medium to long term view. The stock has fallen straight away from 8,600 odd levels to 6,700 now. This is quite a sell off for this kind and this quality stock. I don't think much of a downside. At max, somewhat around close to 6,500 or 6,400 levels. The stock should halt this recent decline, and from where some consolidation and some reversals signs should set in.
All right. Okay. Let's actually forward, and look at now the auto space at large. It's a breaking news that we're going to be sharing with you. In fact, a lot of flashes are coming on your screens as well. There's been a record vehicle sale as far as the festive season is concerned. We are getting all these details from FADA. Of course, the total October sales are up 41% at 40.2 lakh units. October data has actually been given by the Auto Dealers Association, that's called FADA. Remember, two-wheeler sales have jumped 52% to 31.5 lakh units, and 70% dealers now expect November to January sales to to also to continue to grow. Let me go across to my colleague Aishwarya, who's joining in to share with us all these breaking details for all our viewers to understand. Aishwarya, good morning to you. Looks like finally we do have the numbers showcasing what the GST cuts and the festive season together has done for the auto sector. What are the details that you've got?
Well, the numbers that you just explained as far as the festive season sale is concerned, and we did have an opportunity to go on ground at dealerships as well. GST 2.0 and revival as far as rural growth is concerned, consumption sentiment in the rural areas is concerned, is what anchored all of this festive season growth during the Dashera to Diwali period, the 42-day period, which is crucial as far as most of the consumer sales, auto sales is concerned. As you rightly mentioned, the overall vehicle sales are up by about 42% according to FADA's data on a year-on-year basis. Two-wheelers are up about 22%. The passenger vehicles up about 23%, commercial vehicles 15%, and tractor sales as well 14%. Three-wheelers holding a single-digit number there, about 9% of growth. And like I mentioned, these two factors, GST 2.0, lots of discounts and finance options also, when we spoke to some of the dealers, that they said was an option for the consumers, those who are looking and have been stalling their auto purchases up until September 2025 was one of the reasons GST 2.0 gave them that way out to opt for vehicle sales as well. And they suggest, FADA is suggesting, among dealers, 70% of them are of the opinion that this momentum will continue in 2026 as well. There's the wedding season still yet to sort of open up in full swing, and we'll see more purchases is what the dealers are saying. Harvest cash flows, if there is a good harvest going forward, that could also give a fillip to tractor sales and some of the agri vehicles as well. And new launches will continue to drive this growth of as far as the automotive vehicle market, retail market, as well as the commercial side is concerned, is what FAD is saying that will continue in 2026 as well.
Right, let's get back to the markets at this point of time. Cummins India, ladies and gentlemen, a fresh high. This is the direct play of the GCC market as far as India is concerned, where a lot of positive developments are happening. But for the moment, Sakshi, it looks really, really weak. 161 points down at 25,350, where the bulls are battling the bears. I don't see any traction coming it on the long side because we are headed into the weekend. And Nifty Bank 230 points down, 57,322. I would imagine the PSU banking sector is also at a bout of profit booking. You have State Bank of India 1.2% down, Canara Bank 1.2% down. Remember, SBI hit a record high in the last 1 month or so, repeated record highs. So that is something is a bit of a profit booking, but all 12 down at the moment. And at this point of time, one of the best things to do would be to look at the Nippon India PSU banking ETF, which is somewhere like 92, 93 rupees, fresh record high. But a dip there could be a nice long-term bet to play this merger theme as far as the PSU banks are doing. Sakshi, you would remember we discussed this at 30 rupees some 2-3 years ago.
Absolutely. We were one of the first ones to really talk about it on the channel. Credits to you, Shell. We picked it up much before the private sector move and the second rung of the PSU banking move started as well. Gaurav, coming to you, amidst all this news flow of the merger as far as the 12 PSU banks are concerned, for those who've been holding on these stocks for this entire period of consolidation of last 6-8 months and from before that as well, what's the ideal way to go forward? Is it the ETF way that Shell just pointed out? Those looking at a fresh play on the merger up ahead, how should they be also approaching the sector?
I've been of a clear view that PSU banks are fully geared up now, and this is just the beginning, what we have seen. if at all any meaningful profit taking comes, this will give the viewers, the investors, another opportunity to enter. I am not expecting any large profit taking in the PSU banking space anytime soon. If at all it comes, I think that will be a golden opportunity to enter. The next 2 quarters will be much better than what we have seen. The 1% repo rate cut, transmission delay will offset, and we will start seeing lower interest rates getting in. Therefore, I am very much bullish on the NBFC space also, especially the housing finance companies. They have been laying low. I'm expecting a better performance from these companies now. LIC Housing Finance, PSB Housing, and some of the smaller private companies like Aptus Value Finance, Aadhar, and Awas are also likely to do well.
All right. In fact, let's also look at the capital markets related stocks this morning. There is a lot of choppiness there when we look at stocks like BSE, CDSL, maybe even Angel One. All of these stocks are in focus today, and this is also on the back of how the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the government is not looking to shut the door on futures and options, but will actually look at focusing, educating investors about the risks. Let's first listen into what the Finance Minister had to say on the F&O space, and we'll come back to the capital markets and the broking related stocks to discuss with Gaurav and Shail.
जिस तरह से आज आपने पूरे अपनी स्पीच में कंजम्पशन की बात की है और फोकस भी रहा है जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स के जरिए कंजम्पशन को बढ़ावा देना, लेकिन एक मुद्दा, क्योंकि आप जमीन से चीज़ों को समझती है लोगों से मिलकर करके, लेकिन जो एक 2 से 3 लाख करोड़ रुपए तक का इकोनॉमी में नुकसान हो रहा है एफएनओ निवेश से जरिए, उसमें कई सारे छोटे निवेशक भी अपना पैसा गंवा रहे हैं, कई सारे ऐसे मामले आए जिसमें घर के घर बर्बाद हो गए हैं। तो क्या ये चीज आपके संज्ञान में है, क्योंकि ये पैसा कंजम्पशन में आ सकता है, इकोनॉमी को बूस्ट दे सकता है, और सेबी की रिपोर्ट भी बता रही है कि 93% लोग हैं अपना पैसा गंवा रहे हैं। सेबी ने एक मामले में जांच भी करी कि एक विदेशी फर्म जो है वो हजारों करोड़ रुपए का मैनिपुलेशन के जरिए कमाई कर गई। तो क्या आपके संज्ञान में ये सब कुछ है, और ये बड़ा पैसा कंजम्पशन में आके जो सरकार का मकसद है, जो आपका मकसद है, उसको और आगे बढ़ाया जा सकता है?
संज्ञान में है, मगर उस पैसा को कुछ और रास्ता में लेके जाना मेरा इरादा नहीं है। जिस रास्ता में वो जाना चाहते हैं वो उनका मर्जी। सरकार रास्ता बदलने के लिए नहीं, मगर उस रास्ते में जिस तरह के नुकसान हो सकता है, जो आप विस्तार से बात कर रहे हैं उसके ऊपर, उसको अवेयरनेस के द्वारा बातें करेंगे या प्रोग्राम करेंगे, गांव-गांव तक जाकर बोलेंगे भैया संभालो, आपको इतना नुकसान होगा, वो सब कर सकते हैं। मगर वो रास्ता किस रूट में जाना है वो बोलने का मेरा अधिकार नहीं बनता, ऐसे मैं समझती हूँ।
Right. Shell, the stock market, of course, stocks that are favorite capital markets, stocks that are favorite broking houses, names like CDSL, NSDL. There's been so much of action over the last 1.5 to 2 years in this entire space. Finally, some breather at least that the government is not looking to ban overall any F&O. So their volumes will not be stuck at that moment. But at least there is some volatility on these stocks. How are you looking at them amidst the government's viewpoint that they're not going to be banning the F&O, but looking to educate investors?
Sakshi, I think there has been a lot of feedback that has went from the broking community to the finance minister, to the exchanges, that this curtailment of F&O has resulted in the entire business model getting sidestepped. See, how many people smoke in India? The biggest revenue in India comes from cigarettes and liquor. What has the government done? I mean, there are government mandated liquor shops across the country. So you educate people on what are the pitfalls of F&O and let them take their own call. Banning it is like throwing the baby with the bathwater. But the capital market space is a green shoot across the country for about a decade. You should look at quality stocks in the AMC space. Many are getting listed. You should look at quality exchanges. There are only 3. There will be no more exchanges in India. So MCX, BSE and NSE unlisted are amongst 2 or 3 major stocks that should be a part of your long-term portfolio, and of course all AMCs. That is the way how you should deal with it, including the 2 depositories, NDSL and CDSL. Look at them, make a small box and buy them and hold them forever.
Okay, Gaurav, to you, how are you looking at this basket of stocks and what's your fresh approach at them?
I think Shailenji has, the statement comes with a full stop. When we say that just buy them and hold them forever, I think that's something really important because exchanges are limited. It is kind of a monopolistic business. For commodity, it is largely driven by MCX. Equity, it is BSE as of now, NSE getting listed soon. As far as depositories are concerned, there are just 2 of them. So if at all a choice has to be made, I think it won't be a difficult one since we have limited options here. All of them are equally good.
Okay, fair point. Well, thank you so much then, Gaurav, and thank you, Shail, for being with us, on the morning show, and of course highlighting so many insights for all our viewers as well. 122 points lower on the Nifty. We have slipped below 25,400 mark, and we'll have to see whether this level of 25,350 now gets protected. That's the level that Shail pointed out right in the morning. We'll look at that throughout the course of the session as well. But do stay tuned as we continue our coverage on markets for all of you. Up next, of course, I'll be with the top management of CCL Products to discuss their quarterly earnings and more buzzing action in What's Hot. Stay tuned for that.
From overnight global cues to live Dalal Street moves, we decode what matters for your money